So I really don't think, based on a lot of the marriages, and I can't say that I've seen every single marriage out there, and how the husbands and wives treat each other, because certain things need to be kept out of the public view. Um, but marriages should be fun, right? The union between the male and the female is God's design, divine design, and anything, that the scripture says, now what God has joined together, let no man separate, let no one separate. And how oftentimes in marriages do parents let children separate the husband and the wife? Let no man, don't let your son Tommy and little Susie separate you. How many times the moms let their children separate them from their husbands? Your husband and wife should be unified. Let no one separate you. No, Tommy, you sit on this side. You want to sit close to mom? All right, sit over here next to mom. But you ain't separating me from my mom. You ain't separating me from myself. So I think there should be some boundaries. It ain't all about your kids. It's not, and to put your children, their wants and desires, and neglect your marriage, and you watch your whole family fall apart, your whole house collapse, because you neglected each other. That, what God joins together as man and wife, you are not to permit anyone to separate. The union of yourself, that's what when you allow your children, your brothers, your uncles, your nieces, nephews, grandparents, whoever it is, to bring separation and disunity between you and your husband, um, those are things that a husband and wife has to guard against and protect against. And what I see typically a lot of times when a husband and wife are having children is they allow their children to bring separation between the husband and wife. But we, as men, are called to let no one separate what God has joined together. And this is a protection of marriage, the marriage covenant, the promises, and there has to be standards. There has to be boundaries that are clearly established to protect and to guard your yoking. And so, getting back to the fun games that I just invented for all of my for all of those who are interested in building finding healthy, strong marriages, when you're a Christian man and God has given you the biblical mandate to lead your wife and your family, we got to talk about that responsibility. Men have to lead their families. Women have to follow. Now, we have in our culture, heavily in Western culture, a role reversal where the women want to be dominant. They want to lead, and they don't want to submit. But that's not God's divine order. And a submission to God's divine order and a rebellion against God's divine order needs to be talked about. You know what I mean? It's to follow God's design is to follow God's good and pleasing and perfect plan, not only for man, not only for woman, but for mankind, all of us. and so we have to think, like, you know, our duty under the marriage covenant before God. God has appointed the man to lead. Men, we have to lead our families. And so taking your wife and praying with her, you know, leading your wife. And I can almost imagine Adam in the garden after God knocked him out. Go to sleep, Adam. I'm gonna take your rib and I'm gonna make you a beautiful lady to take care of, complete you. All right, God, knock me out. I'm ready. Ready for a nap. Wakes up, there's this beautiful lady. Hello. I don't know, God, you made something mighty nice. This is now bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. I'm gonna call her a woman because she came out of me, a man. And so she's there in the garden looking all beautiful. I can just imagine Adam just taking her by the hand, but like, see, I named these animals right here. This one's called a cow. He poops a lot and it stinks. You gotta watch you don't step in it. Okay, Adam. I stepped in it. What do I do now? Here, let me show you. Take her by the hand. Let me wash you up. Gotta make sure, you know, my bride's smelling good. You know what I mean? I'm hungry, Adam. What's wrong with my stomach? You know, oh, yeah, those are hunger pains. You know what I mean? We're gonna have to eat something. What's that tree over there? Oh, no, can't touch that one. God said we can't touch it. All right. Well, there's somebody talking over there. Yeah, I know. We gotta stay away from him. He causes trouble. Yeah, but he, you know, look at the fruit. Look, you know. So the problem between Adam and Eve, and that was my little fantasy ad lib of how I think the Garden of Eden actually played out, or maybe not played out, but the companionship, the help, you know, it was also, I'm gonna make a suitable helper to help you care for the garden. You know what I mean? I'm gonna make a suitable helper for you to help you be fruitful and multiply. I'm gonna make a suitable helper for you to help you subdue and to rule over everything that I created. And so when I kind of imagine that is God's divine order for man to take his bride, to teach, to instruct, to prune, to keep her away from the serpent in the tree who's trying to deceive her, and a bride that has to follow, right? Like, you know, the bride, the wife, the woman should be following her husband the moment she pulls her hand away. No, I don't want to. That's a spirit of rebelling against your husband. And so games like this, I think, I don't know, you guys tell me. Experiment with it. Be safe. Please, you know, be safe. But experiment with it. Tell me how it works out for you husbands out there. Is your wife learning to follow your lead? Is she listening to you? Is she, you know, and husbands, lead your wives with love and kindness and compassion and gentleness. You know what I mean? The godly fruit of the Spirit, which God requires of us men to lead our wives, you know, in love. And so, but I really would like to hear your stories, your feedback, and your testimonies on this experiment, this marriage experiment.